Welcome to the Fed Life Podcast with Dan Sipe from Serving Those Who Serve. In this podcast, Dan draws from years of financial experience to help federal employees overcome challenges that every Fed can relate to. Join us for this journey as we reach, teach, and serve to help you make the right financial decisions. Now, on to the show.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the Fed Life Podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Dan Sipe, additionally the branch manager here at Serving Those Serve and Lee Sipe and Associates. We are back with executive coach extraordinaire Bob Oberleitner. For part 2 of our interview, we're going to dig into coaching, why it can help, how to pick a coach, and finish up with some nuggets you can use right now to give your federal career a boost. So, welcome back, Bob.
Thank you, Dan.
I'm always excited when they come back. Before we begin, Bob, I want to remember to thank you and our listeners for your service, because you really don't hear that enough, especially it seems right now. And I guess that is a segue into my first question. How do you keep your mission focus and your spirits up when it seems that at every turn, politicians, pundits, and publications just keep taking swings at you and your benefits and all things Fed?
Really, it's the people in the agency. There's an energy and a pride in public service for most federal workers that keeps us going. We believe in what we do and how the work that we do benefits the country.
That is so true. With 30 years of serving you folks, it is abundantly clear every single day that I'm working with people that have a sense of mission. But right now, is that a challenge for your clients to navigate?
It is for my federal clients. And while the assaults do certainly take a toll, by and large, feds are focused on the good their agency does and their task at hand. The constant war of words does hurt, but ultimately, again, as you said, most federal workers carry on with their agency mission.
Okay. How might you help them?
So some feds are seeking other career options. I think another pipeline impact is in recruiting and how the candidates view government as a career.
Sure.
As a coach, I would explore with the person what they want out of a career, what type of work excites them, as well as explore what specific ways the narrative by some regarding those in the federal service has impacted them.
You know, again, just a little comment here. My daughter is a rising junior in college, and has now added a political science minor, and I think I might have a little policy warrior coming here, because she's got some very strong feelings about right and wrong and service and that sort of thing. I'm super proud of her.
Very nice.
But so I get that. So help me get the picture here. What thought process should I go through? Again, I'm a Fed at a various point in time in my career, to determine if I'm ready to take the step to seek a coach.
So talking specifically about leadership or executive coaching, I'll reference the quote that I noted last time from Eric Schmidt, former CEO at Google. A line in his quote was, "One thing people are never good at is seeing themselves as others see them."
I remember that.
So building off that quote, if you want to up your game, increase your awareness of how you are showing up at work, if you feel there are challenges holding you back, if you want to look at how you are approaching those challenges, or you merely want to leverage the advantage of having a confidential sounding board, then you should consider a coach.
Okay. So how much of the process is, cutting through the noise and figuring out what you should focus on? In our last session, I talked a little bit about Cal Newport and the difference between shallow versus deep. So is it somewhere along those lines?
Sorting out the noise is certainly part of it. However, there are other key components. For example, recognizing how we show up and react, particularly when we're stressed. Also ensuring that we take in multiple points of information to ensure that we really are recognizing what's going on accurately. Since our lives and interactions with people are not all videotaped like a movie, we can't rewind and watch it again to see what facts and information we missed.
Gotcha.
So we have to rely on more than just our memory to get an accurate picture of events and situations.
Okay. So you got me leaning towards looking into coaching. What questions should I begin to ask myself?
Most importantly, am I ready to do the work required? You have to be open to looking at yourself and making changes to respond differently in some way to your current situation. Since if we have situations and challenges that inhibit or bother us, generally what we're doing now is not working. So a new awareness and change of what we're doing is what it usually takes to get where we want to go. Then, where do I want to get coaching from? Basically, do I want to select my own coach privately or look at agency-provided resources? Also, what do I want in a coach? Is it important for me that my coach has some same specific professional experience that's similar to my own, or is the personal connection more important to me?
Okay. All right. So you just moved me down the road a little further. I'm ready to take the first step to look into this. What should that be?
So if you opt to select your own private coach, do an internet search or go on the International Coach Federation or the International Association of Coaching websites. Or if you prefer to go through your agency, contact your human resources training department to research what coaching is available. If you're already in management, does your agency have internal coaches or do they provide coaching hours from contract coaches?
Okay. So let's continue. I've gone through that process and I've picked my candidates. What type of questions should I be asking them other than how are you going to make me awesome?
So you're looking to find the right fit for you. Ask how they would characterize their coaching style or their coaching approach. Some people want a very frank and very direct coach. Others prefer a supportive coach that works with you at whatever stage you're at. Ask what their expectations of clients are. If having a certified coach is important to you, ask if the coach is certified.
You mentioned that, and I always think about that one Saturday Night Live skit where Chris Farley would be the guy who lived down by the river in his van. I think I want a certified coach. But again, I interrupted you. I think I probably want credentials. So I want a coach with the background. So
they have certification credentials. If you want a coach with a background or experience in your same specific industry, ask about that. Overall, for me, it really comes down to, are you comfortable with that particular coach in your introductory session? Do you click with that coach? At the end of the day, this relationship is based on trust and your ability to be honest and share things about your work and yourself.
Boy, as you said that really strikes me, because one of the things that I've said, and again, my group here goes all the way down to the age of 30, learning what I've been blessed to do and in serving the folks who serve the public trust. But the funny part of that is when I look at what you just said and being able to share frankly and that sort of thing, I am surrounded. Everybody here is smarter than me. So how could they not be? But I'm very blessed by that. But my youthful and brilliant team notwithstanding, in 30 years, I am absolutely convinced the people who choose to work with us have decided they're comfortable discussing their financial lives, goals, dreams, aspirations with us. And I'm absolutely convinced if that's not there, it really doesn't matter how smart we are or what we know. So that's a fantastic point. So great questions. Any obvious red flags I should watch for?
Any coach saying they have all the answers.
Oh yeah, very true. Okay, great. I've picked my coach, and if that's you, what typically would happen next?
I'd ask you if you've had coaching before. If so, what did you like and not like from the previous coaching experience? If this was your first experience with coaching, I'd explain what coaching is and what coaching is not. And from there, we'd move on to whatever topic that you would like to work on for that day.
Okay. So I'm going to put you on the spot here because you've given us some great questions, but I come around to that in what we do here. And that is, what is your why? You've had a great federal career. So now you've got the ability to probably stay, as many more years as you would like. You're in the senior executive service. After that, you've got the pension and the benefits. You have certainly tithed your time to the public trust. Why not just ride off into the sunset?
I really enjoy working, and specifically working with people. I enjoy hearing people's stories and partnering with them as they solve challenges that have kept them from reaching their goals.
Okay, it's a good answer. But I'm going to put you on the spot again. It's clear to me from my conversations with you pre-recording and now that you do have a passion for this. And so I want to ask, are there one or two coaching or guidance or mentoring experiences that you have that stand out? Obviously, maintain confidentiality, but the kind that just say to you, yeah, this is why I do it.
For me, it's the times where after posing a question, the client is thoughtful and quiet for a while. You can tell they had not asked themselves that question before. It opens up new ways of approaching the problem for them. There was one coaching client who, after a few quiet moments, admitted to themselves that they had been avoiding addressing the conduct of a confrontational employee. It took some work to get there, but after addressing the core issue, the team's performance, as well as the overall mood of the team and the individual involved, improved.
Makes sense.
With another client, they did a lot of work around how they were showing up with their boss and during interviews to be a manager. When they recognized how others perceived them and started thinking more about that and being more observant of the signals around them and what they were doing without realizing, they were able to make adjustments and allow their true and best qualities to come through.
I can see that. All right, so let's get back on the coaching path here. So, okay, I've got my coach. It's you. How will that relationship unfold? What types of things will we do to begin? Am I going to have a lot of homework here, Bob?
Well, first we get to know each other a little bit, and then you'd outline what's important for you to discuss over the course of the coaching engagement. For each session, you would set the agenda of what you want to focus on for that day, and we would adhere to that agenda. Regarding homework, sometimes there is none. If there is, the amount depends on what you, as the client, want to undertake. It could be merely an exercise in being observant and noting certain actions at work. It could be grounding or verifying certain assumptions that you have been carrying around with you. It could also be making a note and reminding yourself to do certain things, such as asking more questions and listening to fully understand your coworker's position. Homework could also be reading some portion of a book or watching a YouTube video.
Okay. What types of things might I expect to learn as part of the process?
So you can expect to get questions that help you explore beyond your current thinking. You can expect to have your assumptions challenged and learn more about the issues that you have been stuck on. And you likely will always learn something new about yourself.
Oh boy, you're going to make me do work. And every time I hear I'm going to ask you great questions, I know what's coming next. I'm going to have to think about stuff. Okay. But how about this? If in the process you observe from your experience that I need to acquire upgrade skills, can you help me with the how-to? Because that's kind of tough sometimes because, again, we don't see ourselves from the outside, might not know what skill or attribute we need to buff up or even bolt on or acquire. So would that be something that you'd help with?
Yeah, the coach will assist and partner with you in designing whatever action steps will help you get to the goals that you have chosen.
Okay. And again, nothing is typical, but in your experience, what are some of the things that you see popping up as maybe upgrades that many aspiring leaders need to? Because, I know for myself, I can't honestly say that at any point in time, I saw myself leading an organization. But I saw myself wanting to do better. I saw myself wanting to work more effectively with people in my surroundings, but didn't always know what to acquire. And that's where my coaches and mentors came in. So what are some of the things that you see typically that people who are moving on that path might need to add?
So it really varies from person to person, but that said, often many aspiring leaders benefit from lifting their vision from their direct responsibilities and taking a broader, higher level perspective, more of an executive perspective. They also benefit from recognizing that building coalitions and working with people is more effective than always trying to be the subject matter expert and convincing others that their way is the best and the only way to solve a problem.
yeah, but what if I'm right, Bob? I mean, come on. No, I understand what you're saying. Okay, here's a tough one for me. How about patience? Am I going to need that? I mean, I just hired a coach. This is going to be like Cinderella, right? You wave your wand and I get on my career goals. Obviously, I'm joking, but not entirely. And if I may, I want to digress for a moment. I actually just finished a great book by Rich Karlsgaard from Forbes, and it's called Late Bloomers. And it's one that I'm really, really happy that I got to, because he discusses right now our society kind of has an obsession with wunderkind and also the false narrative of have massive early success or we failed. So coming back to the patience, do you find that's a challenge right now to overcome in helping your clients launch or advance federal careers? Is there a sense of impatience and urgency there that seems to be going on in society?
Yes, the desire to get the promotion now and have success now is a common expectation.
Mm-hmm.
With many federal agencies shrinking their staffing levels or holding steady versus expanding, that means that there are generally many more candidates than open promotion slots.
Sure.
We have to continually evaluate our ideal career plan based on our current situation and the circumstances.
And, how might you coach, really throw you a curve here. How might you coach 40-year-old me, Bob? Because speaking for myself, I'm a baby boomer. I was raised by the greatest generation. So I got that initial weird gene splice of keep your head down and work. But because my parents' generation really wanted us to have a better life and things like that, we were probably the first generation coming up with real expectations. So, so how might you coach bull in the China shop, Dan, in that instance?
So for coaching, we'd find out what is your tolerance for the unknown. We'd explore that. We'd say explore what is important to you. What level of risk and sacrifice are you willing to accept? We'd look into what skills do you need to obtain. We'd also take a look at what is your agency demonstrating they're specifically looking for in a leader, judging by the recent leaders that they've hired.
Sounds like you're talking to me about patience again. So no, and Bob, I mean, if I'm a control freak, I never have to worry about the unknown, right? Because I can control the past, present, and future. So you can help me see the world as it is and still press on. Will you also be there helping me through the bumps and skin knees? Because, again, we sometimes have this false narrative about being the rugged loner, the individualist, and that sort of thing. But having that trusted confidant, I know, has been very important for me. Is that something that I might expect from my coach?
Absolutely. Coach is there as a sounding board, a confidential partner to discuss issues with. Coach is someone who can assist you to shine a light on the path that you are traveling to enable you to see things that you may have been missing before.
Okay. Let's flip the script a little bit, because some of my coaches and mentors that were just so incredibly valuable to me, when I would meet them later in life, would say that they saw and knew what I could do before I believed I could. And I found that to be true because, I sort of ended up where they felt I would be in my life and my career. But also I do remember them from time to time choosing sometimes between nurturing or stridently and abruptly forceful ways that they gave me gentle nudges or big shoves as needed. Has that been an experience with you and your clients that, sometimes you can ease them gently into that beautiful vision of who they're going to be? And then sometimes, I don't know, there might be a kick involved somewhere.
Yeah, the coaching relationship does allow for the coach to challenge the client as to why they're not taking the actions they've indicated they want to pursue. There's also the opportunity through the use of direct questions and observations to create an awareness in the client to help that coaching client recognize what has been holding them back.
So there's some accountability.
Absolutely.
So you're an accountability partner. That's awesome. So if needs be, you can help your folks take the actions that will lead to self-efficacy.
Yes, through the coach's use of questions and direct communication, the coach can help you decide upon and commit to your own path to take actions in support of your goals.
Yeah, well, in this day and age, that's worth its weight in gold. I'm very fortunate that I've still got one of my mentors left. Had a tough stretch a few years back where I lost 2 in a year, and it's that weird moment, and you may have experienced it, where you start looking around and going, "Ooh, I might be the grown up now."
Yeah.
When did that happen? Okay, Bob, definitely. Crunch time. I promised our FedLife listeners some actionable tips that they can use now to wrap up this podcast. So hit me. What are Bob's best bits of wisdom?
So these 5 things stand out to me. First, you do not need to have a formal leadership position title in order to be a leader at work. Everyone can take steps every day to act as a leader.
Amen.
2, if your agency participates with the Federal Coaching Network, you can get coaching from a federal coach at no cost to you. Check out OPM's website to read more about the Federal Coaching Network.
Wow, that's huge. I mean, so that's free tuition to get better.
Yeah.
Oh, that's big.
3, take advantage of the leadership training that your agency offers as part of their training budget. Your agency's chief learning officer would be the likely contact to find out what is available in your agency.
I've been doing this 30 years. I did not know that there was a chief learning officer. That's a good tip.
And 4, whether you have it paid by your agency or you decide to pay out of your pocket, there are also a number of government and nonprofit organizations that offer great training to feds. For example, there's Graduate School USA. They have a wide variety of training and certificate programs, and some of those offerings are in the evenings and on the weekends.
Okay.
The Partnership for Public Service is another great option. If you go to their website, you can get on their email list for weekly articles on leadership and government. They also have a course that they run called the Excellence in Government Fellow Program, and that's one example of training that they offer. OPM is another government option. They have leadership centers at different locations all across the country. And of course, there's the Federal Executive Institute, FEI, in Charlottesville, Virginia. They offer courses to managers and executives.
Ooh, I've been out there. That's awesome.
And finally, number 5, inquire whether your agency offers coaching to your position level. If not, or if you don't like the agency-provided coaches, if you want a longer engagement, or if you simply prefer more control over your coaching options, secure a private coach of your own.
Okay. Well, there you have it, folks. Methods from the master. Bob, thank you so much for joining us here on FedLife, and thank you for helping our feds make the most of their Fed lives.
Thank you.
Again, how can our folks find you if they want to know more?
They can find me on LinkedIn and also on my website, rjocoaching.com.
Okay. And now, pop-up questions here on behalf of our FedLife listeners. So question number 1, will you come back?
Absolutely.
Excellent. And number 2, Bob, we have a newsletter that we put out. And as we've been working through this, it just hit me that if you'd be willing to become a contributor and if you'd like to have a career corner on that, we'd love to have you. Would you consider that?
That would be great. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's awesome. All right, folks, here's the part I have to wrap up with. Even though Bob and his material are awesome, I need to say that the topics in our podcast are for informational purposes only and should not be taken as advice. The opinions of our guests, no matter how great, are their own and not necessarily those of Serving Those Who Serve, FedLife, or Raymond James. We are Serving Those Who Serve. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast on your YouTube channel and remember to share it with your friends and strangers. Check us out on Twitter and LinkedIn. Don't forget our seminars every month around the DMV featuring Ed Zerndorfer. You can find that at stwserve.com/seminars and events. And be sure to check out Bob at rjocoaching.com. So for Bob Oberleiner, the crew at Serving Those Who Serve, me, Dan Sipe, good luck, Godspeed, and above all, remember, it's your Fed life. Make it a great one because you deserve it. We are out.
Thank you for listening to the FedLife Podcast. Click the subscribe button below to be notified when new episodes become available. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Serving Those Who Serve or Raymond James. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service provider with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors Incorporated. Serving Those Who Serve is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services.
Neither Raymond James Financial Services nor any Raymond James financial advisor renders advice on tax issues. These matters should be discussed with the appropriate professional. Investing involves risk, and you may incur a profit or loss regardless of strategy selected, including diversification and asset allocation. Raymond James is not affiliated with and does not endorse the opinions or services of the quoted professionals or their respective organizations.